the phrase James Gunn is ruining the DCEU baffles me. Because what we had in the DCEU was what we had in the DCEU was a shit Aquaman actor, a shit Wonder Woman actor, a psychopath, two psychopaths, one playing the Flash and one playing Mera, Batman killing people, Superman being a killer Jesus. Just bad. It was just a bad DC, just a bad movie franchise. And we had two Justice League movies, which were both mid. And somehow everyone thinks that Zachary Snyder should have continued on with his dream, with his goal, with his legacy. And yet, he said, if you don't think that our superheroes won't commit war crimes, then you're living in a dream world. And Superman said a similar line in the comics as an argument. It is good to live in a dream world. That's not word for word. It's basically a summary of what he's just said. Because Superman is not a psychopath. Superman is not a villain. Zachary Snyder just skims across the pages. He thinks he's clever. He's basically Michael Bay, but Michael Bay makes films just to look cool. Now, where am I going with this? James Gunn is not in the wrong. If you want to argue about someone, if you want to get angry at the DCU for firing Henry Cavill, then get angry at The Rock. The Rock brought in Henry Cavill, and it was probably against DC's wishes, and they were going to try and make a reboot. Sure, The Rock knew what the DC fans wanted, but he still went against their wishes, even though they were going to make a reboot. And some of you might be saying, "Oh, we're in 2022 now. We all know what a multiverse is. We're in 2023 now. We all know what a multiverse is. But some people that are newcomers to DC and Marvel don't know what a multiverse is, because some of us aren't complete and utter nerds. So, where am I actually going with this? James Gunn has a potential to make possibly one of the best Superman movies. Now, I haven't watched a lot of James Gunn movies. I've yet to watch his this movie named Super with it. Him directing it. He had Rainn Wilson in it. I've yet to watch that movie. It's supposed to be really good. It's like Kick-Ass or something. I'm not even sure if it's good. And James Gunn, sure, he might not be the best director. He even turned down a Superman script because he didn't think that he would be good at it. So, how could James Gunn make a good Superman movie? Well, that's the topic of today's video. Now, without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so our casting needs to be perfect. We need our Jack Sparrow here. Because people instantly think, when they think of Johnny Depp, they think of Jack Sparrow. Because they don't think of Johnny Depp, they don't think of the Amber Heard trial. They think of Jack Sparrow. When people think of Robert Downey Jr., they don't think of, the drug lord thing back then. They think of Iron Man. When people think of Robert Pattinson, they instantly think Twilight. Not as newer, better films. They think we need to think of someone that could play the best Superman ever. And I've never heard of this actor before. I'm just using what everyone else chose for a Superman fan cast. And that's what most people with a fan cast do. That was what most people do when they're doing a fan cast. So what I chose is David Corran Sweat. I don't know who he is. I've never seen him in anything. And it's a good thing. Because that way, I instantly think of him as Superman. Because I've watched a Superman, how to make a good Superman, a good Superman movie from Superframe, good YouTuber. He's made an entire DCEU with this Superman, and with Robert Pattinson Batman, and it is how I would exactly do the DCEU. I maybe like switch the movies around, like make Superman the first movie, but it's perfect. So, where am I going with this? Alright, so now we've got the perfect casting for Superman. Now we need the perfect casting for Lex Luthor, his arch nemesis. Another actor that I haven't heard of, Billy Zane. I think I've heard of him before, I think I've seen him before, but I'm using him from like the Super Frame video. I'm using the same. God, I'm ripping him off. I'm sorry, man. At least I shouted you out. Right. Now, he's bald. He pulls off the personality. He looks like the animated Lex Luthor. Now, let's go on to the characterization. For like Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, that just cast whoever you want. And moving on to the actual plot of the movie. Moving on to the characterization. Alright, let's go. Okay, so here's a list of all the main Superman characters. Not in this movie, but what you need to know how to make a good Superman movie and a good Superman story. Alright, Superman. He's a kind-hearted person that, sure, he lives in a dream world. He's an optimist. He wants to inspire people. He wants to make the world a better place. He wants to believe that everyone is still good. And that is Superman's character. He believes in everyone. He doesn't want to take the easy way. He wants to take the hard way. He wants to take every chance of saving everyone. Sure, it might be risky, but he's willing to take the chance to make sure that everyone's safe and everyone is good, and to make everyone believe that a man can fly. We need that type of personality for Superman. Okay. God, I got a cold. Lex Luthor. Right. So Lex Luthor is a president. He's a bald-headed Donald Trump, but smart. He's basically Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Like, he hates immigrants. He's bald. He hates illegal aliens. And he's supposed to be charismatic. He doesn't like, sometimes he doesn't believe in, he shouldn't not believe in himself. He always believes in himself. He's so charismatic. He doesn't have any second chances whatsoever. He's just bold, brave, and sure, egotistical. But one thing that everyone misses out on is the fact that Lex Luthor is one of the most powerful people in the DC universe with his intellect. He is the most smartest person in the entire multiverse of DC. And what we need for Lex Luthor to be the Thanos of this DCEU. Because Darkseid, right? The grey guy with like that blue suit. He is boring as fuck. He just wants to kill everyone. He just wants to remove free will. And sure, that might be fun. That might be interesting. Sure, it's like a massive threat that the Justice League can take on. But that is just one thing that he wants. He wants to reduce all hope. And that could be fit well right in for a Superman movie. I've seen a Superman Man of Steel 2 pitch made by Troy O'Brien. And that was probably what could have been the best Superman Man of Steel 2 pitch ever. That was just genius. But Darkseid, his only good characteristic, it was Jack Kirby made him. The artist of Marvel and DC. That's the only good characteristic. Alright, now moving on to interesting characters. Lois Lane, the love of Superman's life. She is like, she's spunky, she's cool, like she's sassy. And she'll never stand down from a fight. She's the type of person to be like in a debate against Lex Luthor, and she's going into labour, and she just ignores a pregnancy and just continues to fight on. That's the type of person that Lois Lane is. Moving on to Jimmy Olsen now. Jimmy Olsen is Superman's friend. Each time Superman is feeling low, he goes to Jimmy Olsen. Not to his wife, but to his best friend. The person that believes in him always. The person that will know if Superman's bad or not. Right. Now, Ma and Pa Kent. Mom and Pa Kent need to be important to this new DCEU. Don't. Alright, so this is one thing that Zack Snyder, the most important thing that Zack Snyder did wrong. Zack Snyder made Pa Kent die in a tornado and made Pa Kent want Superman to let the kids drown. Those are two things that Zack Snyder got wrong about Pa Kent. Pa Kent is supposed to die from something Superman can't save, like a heart attack. And he's supposed to make Superman into Superman. He is the original Superman. That's what Pa Kent is. Ma Kent, he knits at things. He's the one that made Superman's suit. He's not, oh, you're better than everyone. You're Christian. You're Jesus. For one thing, Superman is Moses. Everyone knows that because his creators were Jewish. Well, every Superman fan knows that. Alright, now, Supergirl. Supergirl is Superman's cousin, and for those of you who are going out Halloween couples think, they're supposed to, brother-sister dynamic, you know? Sure, she might be older than him, but, it's kind of a bit weird. I think, personally, they should make Supergirl just Clark's younger cousin, period, or something. And another Superman character that I should list off is Krypto. Krypto is Superman's dog. The one thing that gets in between Superman and Lex Luthor. Superman is a dog person. He loves dogs. Krypto is the exact opposite of Lex Luthor. He's man's best friend, and he's not bald. Steel. John Henry Irons. One of my favourite characters from Superman and Lois. He needs to be Superman's replacement. He needs to be someone that could replace Superman. He's basically Iron Man, but black, and he's just so cool. I cannot describe how cool he is because I'm more familiar with the Superman Lois version, but the Death of Superman version. But he's just peak. By the way, General Zod. We're not using General Zod in this movie because you've seen him probably more than Lex Luthor. General Zod has the same problem with Darkseid. He just wants to conquer Earth and destroy it. That's all you need to understand. Lobo, he's basically Deadpool. He has healing factor. He can break the fourth wall if you want him to. He is badass. Metallo, he's a criminal that Superman ended up killing in one of his battles. Now he's back and he's in a cyborg uniform. Brainiac is a Kryptonian creation. Not he could introduce in the world building. Bizarro, he's the exact opposite of Superman. And the Jor-El family, they're Superman's family. You don't need to really build off of them. Then Superman's dad comes into an AI and becomes that now. That's basically all you need to know about the main characters of Superman's main Superman that's characteristics and that. That's basically everything you need to know about Superman. Also, Parasite's he used to be a normal criminal or Superman's best friend, then he turned into some alien goo, and everyone thinks Superman's the normal person. Parasite's the alien because they look different. Anyway, so why out of that entire diverse group of characters did I pick Bizarro as the main villain of this Superman movie? Well, what does the main target audience of what does everyone besides Superman fans and DC fans think of Superman? They think Superman is a mindless action hero. They think he just punches his problems away. They think he's a dumbass. And what does James Gunn like to do? He likes to have fun with his unknown characters. He likes to have goofy characters in media. He likes to mess around with characters. He likes having fun with unknown, lesser known characters. And who would know Mixius Pidlick? Who would know, like, Parasite? No one would know. No one knows or cares about them. But people know. People know Bizarro. People will automatically know and won't need to search it up. Like the Batman. They knew who Riddler was. They knew what his deal was. Bizarro, he is created by Lex Luthor. We need Lex Luthor in the movie. And he includes world building. The company that creates Bizarro is named Cadmus, who is founded by Lex Luthor and Amanda Waller. Now we've introduced Amanda Waller. We've introduced Superboy. We've built Superboy up as well. We include world building, and we've basically took out two birds with one stone by introducing Bizarro as the main villain. We've made it seem that we've made it seem that Superman needs to rescue everyone, right? He needs to talk down a gunner in a school. He needs to talk down some insane person with a gun in a bank. I don't know, keep bringing guns into it. He needs to talk someone out of doing something, a crime or suicide. Now, how can he talk someone out like a brain-dead version of him? A brain-dead reverse version of him that shoots fire from his mouth and freezes people with his eyes. How can we make him talk someone out of that? Someone that is already lost. A dark, twisted version of him, made by his arch nemesis. How can he save the world from that in his own mind, in his own opinion, with his own views, without killing them? Well, it's simple. Because Superman will always find a way to take out all of his enemies, to help everyone, to save everyone. Because Superman is a beacon of hope. Now, why do people still think that James Gunn is in the wrong? Why do people still think that James Gunn is a dumbass for removing Henry Cavill? When I've just laid out all the things that James Gunn could do to a Superman movie, he could make the most perfect Superman movie. Now, do I think it's perfect? Well, I'm a bit biased to it since I created it. These are the things that James Gunn can do and should do. He's a comedy writer. He's a comedy super writer. He likes to make action movies. He's smart. Have you seen the Suicide Squad movie? Have you seen this Peacemaker series? Because the way he's made those, he understands. We know that he understands those characters. He made Peacemaker, right? He's probably one of the blandest. I haven't actually read any of his comics or anything. He's barely in any comics. He's barely got a comic book series. So, how can he make Peacemaker from an action hero, a bland action hero, to a lovable character? Because James Gunn understands the characters of DC more than Zack Snyder. Now, if James Gunn goes with this exact layout, how would this movie be written, directed? How would this movie go? Would it be a good movie or a bad movie? I can't predict the future, but I think the plot would go a little something like this. Lex Luthor and Superman are fighting, then Lex Luthor gets a hint of Superman's DNA, brings it to Cadmus. Amanda Waller says, "Oh, you sure you want to do this? It could be dangerous, blah blah blah." Then Lex Luthor goes ahead and does it, designs all of Waller's things, because he has so much faith in himself that this plan will work, that he will kill Superman, and it will end up destroying half the city. He won't be able to control it. Maybe be able to press one button and it'll just slowly make Superman, the evil Superman clone, decay, and Superman would have to destroy it sometime, but he doesn't want to kill, so he has to try and talk it out. But the thing won't listen. Superman needs to talk it out of doing it, and Superman needs to be smart in this movie. So you'll try and find out who created this clone of him, and yeah, something will happen in like something in between that would happen. Like he'd like I don't know, talk to Lois, go on a date. He'd like talk to like Jimmy Olsen on top of the Daily Planet or something. You know, something like that. That would be the like basic structure of the movie. I'm not laying out an entire plot. This video is going on far too. I'm going on with myself. This would be the exact. This wouldn't really be. I don't think it could be a good movie. I think we could. It could be a good animated movie, but couldn't. It might not be able to be a good Superman live action movie. But if done well, if it had a good director, if it had a good writer, then maybe it could be the perfect Superman movie. And luckily, we've got James Gunn. It's been Redneck Fanboy Productions, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye for now.